This is Hidden Killers with Tony Bruschi.
Well, an Alabama jury has found 36-year-old Brian Mann, once a well-regarded chiropractor in Hartselle, guilty of attempted murder for secretly dosing his estranged wife's multivitamins with lead and then taking out a stack of life insurance policies on her worth more than $1 million. The verdict was read just this last week after roughly 3 hours of deliberations spent over 2 days. Mann now faces sentencing coming up August 27th. Hannah Pettey, now 25, told jurors her nightmare began in August of 21 with crippling back pain and abnormal pain, dizzy spells, and relentless nausea. Over the next few months, she shed 40 pounds, eventually hallucinating as her condition spiraled. Mann, she testified, insisted she stay home and keep taking the immune boosters he supplied from his clinic. Capsules, prosecutors say he spiked with lead, salvaged from a construction project. So he basically made his own medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Is that accurate to say on what this is?
Well, if you want to call it medicine, I would call it poison. But
yes,
because we talked about this last week, and he had an x-ray room built in his office, his chiropractic office, and there was some leftover lead that for some reason they left behind. I don't know why, or maybe he was like, hey, I'll dispose of that for you. So he had access to it. And then he starts giving her these immune boosters and poisons her with lead.
It makes you wonder, what happened first, the idea to kill the wife or the lead showing up at the office? Like, oh, that gives me an idea. Lead.
I'm going to guess he was going to kill his wife. And then this was like, aha, this would be a great way to do it. I'm
getting that new room installed. I'm going to ask for the extra lead to be left behind.
And who leaves lead behind? Because you would clean that up. You wouldn't leave lead behind.
He probably had some excuse or some I'll get it cleaned up, guys. I got to get this moving here. And who knows? Who the hell knows? That's just pure speculation. But for some reason, he got to keep the lead, and the lead ended up in the pills. While Pettey languished, Mann was busy buying a lot of insurance policies, each carrying six-figure payouts if she died. At least one agent testified the flurry of applications was so unusual it triggered an internal review. Mann even asked to raise existing coverage limits while she lay hospitalized. Can you do that?
He did.
Like, while they're hospitalized?
Doesn't mean it was granted, and it doesn't even mean they knew that she was hospitalized.
It's usually, I don't know. I've never dealt with life. Like, I have a life insurance policy, but I've never dealt with one, like, actively. So I would think there might be a clause in there that you can't just like up it really high when they're in the hospital and they might be dying.
Did they even know? Did he just call him and say, "Hey, I want to up this life insurance policy"?
I would think that they would look at that and figure that out.
And I think they did.
Yeah.
I think that because they were talking about the flurry of applications. So it makes me think that he was on the radar. And then when he's requesting, I'd like that $100,000 policy to be $200,000. That's kind of alarming right there.
How often do you think it is when you're working at a life insurance company that you have to raise a red flag? Where you're like, this is weird.
And I would think that they do special training to here's what to watch out for.
I want to be in that special training. I want to watch the info video that they're using to teach people about this. That would be very interesting to.
It would be interesting because they have to be aware that people do it all the time.
Yeah.
And, you also don't want to be paying out policies that were gotten for reasons like this. He wants to kill his wife. And the last thing you want to do is pay out a policy that was why someone was killed.
Yeah. Pettey told jurors Mann appeared the nicest she'd ever been during her illness, bringing water, pills, and crucially, ankle weights. She said he insisted she strap them on before doctor visits so the scale wouldn't reveal her drastic weight loss and jeopardize the new policies that required her to be in good health.
So I don't think she knew that. Do you think she knew that? Or was that just now looking back on it, what she thinks?
Well, I think she was just trusting whatever he said to do because she was just believing, he has her best interest at heart.
He's a chiropractor.
Yeah.
He knows. When
Pettey's mother finally rushed her to the hospital, specialists found her lead level hovering around 80 milligrams per deciliter, 8 times the threshold considered dangerous. Physicians testified that any movement risked shifting pressure inside her skull. At one point, surgeons irrigated her colon to flush out residual metal. Despite aggressive treatment, Pettey still carries lead in her bones, suffers chronic hand pain, and has been told the poisoning likely left her infertile. Detectives closed in. Mann tried to cast himself and even the couple's young children as fellow victims, telling a nurse practitioner he'd spotted lead fragments in a self-administered x-ray. A hospital scan did show a suspicious mass in his stomach, but doctors said it appeared freshly swallowed, bolstering prosecutors' claim he ingested lead to stage the false parallel poisoning. Pettey described years of manipulation. Mann deleted her social media accounts, discouraged her from working, and limited contact with her family. I just want to say this to women out there. If your man, your boyfriend, your husband, your whatever, ever says, I want to delete all your social media accounts, or you can't have them, or we need to have a joint one, you're not with a good person.
No.
You're not. That's not someone with your best interest at heart. That's not someone who's just trying to merge everything together and where is one on social media. That's a really, really insecure person, or it's a person that's projecting their own shit.
I know
and they're probably over there
who have that dual, it's like Tony, Carol, Miller, it's
I get
both of them I think is a little weird.
It's a little weird. I get it. Like if you have your own personal one and then you have like one together for family pictures or so, I don't know. It's kind of stupid and redundant in my opinion, but it's an act of control. It's like saying you can't have 100%. A cell phone. Mm-hmm. You have your rights, you have your own agency. There's no reason why a healthy human being would have issue with you having any of those things. And it goes the other way too, for men Absolutely, as well. If your female partner is telling you that, they're not a good person. I can guarantee it. That's a level of insecurity that is extremely unhealthy. If you've proven you can't be trustworthy, then you just shouldn't be in a relationship. But you shouldn't be in a relationship where one has to dictate that you can't have certain lines of communication because it's going to destroy the relationship. The relationship's going to be destroyed or already is destroyed if that's where you're at.
Mm-hmm. And, I wonder, she was younger than him because she's only 25 now, I think. And sometimes he's 36. Yeah. So I wonder if, she was young and trusting and, okay, honey, I'll get rid of my social media accounts.
Because you're that insecure? Yeah. And then look, I've been with people, I've been in relationships where they've told me stories of their exes that I couldn't be on social media for 10 years or whatever. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And it's a really big thing. The other thing out there that I think is interesting in the world of dating, and I don't mind this. I could care less because I don't give a shit. I'd like the person who I'm with to actually know where I'm at all times in case something happens. I have nothing to hide. I'm not going anywhere weird or shady so I don't care. Follow me. But it's a thing. It's tracking each other. Now, parents, a lot of us do it with our kids with an app called Life 360 or just through Apple or whatever. But partners do it too. now. And it seems to be like a thing where it's almost like normal in a relationship that you do this. I find it a little weird, but it is kind of the norm now. And I think you have a generation of people who, if the partner doesn't want to be tracked on their phone, the other partner may find that to be a deal breaker.
Right.
So I don't know. Like I said, I don't care. I'm an adult. I have a daughter. So the way I'm dating in my 40s is very different than the way I would have dated in my 20s. Not that I was out cheating, but it also wasn't like, I want you to follow me 24/7 and then question every place I go. I don't know. But I mean, I don't know. Me and my significant other do it. The only time I check is like if we're on our way to each other's homes and like, I wonder how far she is or something like that.
Or,
other than that, I don't, I'd like,
yeah. She get home okay. Like,
that sort of stuff.
She text when she got home. She didn't text.
Not a, where are you? But it is abused, and people do abuse it. Where it's, why were you here? Why were you there? It's like, if you're going to scrutinize every aspect of a person's life, and they're not doing anything, that's the quickest way to start making them do something. Because if you don't believe them when they're not doing anything and they feel that lack of trust, they're going to start losing trust in the relationship, and that's how things could happen. And
the whole thing about limiting her access to her family and controlling, I'm going to guess too, with friends and who you're with, and they just kind of slowly close your circle in until really it's just about that person. Mm-hmm. So, he probably didn't really, my guess is by limiting her circle, she's really sick and, so she's not talking to other people about it.
Anyone who's trying to isolate you from your friends or your family, also a huge red.
Yeah.
Like, especially
so my guess is he didn't plan on her telling her mother. Yeah. And then the mom got her to the doctor.
They do it.
Oh, this whole thing. But he's like, no, don't go to the doctor. Just take some more of these immune.
Listen to me. I got you. I'm the savior here. I can fix everything. And once the investigation began, relatives barred Mann from visiting her in the hospital, an action that initially left her distraught until the evidence of foul play became clear. Jurors convicted Mann of attempted murder, rejecting his defense that testing procedures were flawed and that he, too, had been poisoned. He remains in custody, awaiting the August 27th sentencing hearing, where he could face decades in prison for a scheme prosecutors say was as methodical as it was merciless.
That's true, too.
Yeah.
Like, he was 100%, I find that particularly cruel. Any murder is horrific, don't get me wrong, but when you slowly watch someone you supposedly love dying in front of you over weeks, I don't know how long this took for sure, but she was in the hospital for 2 months. That's how sick she was. So she slowly becomes sicker and sicker. And then he's like, don't go to the hospital, but take more of these pills. You'll be fine.
How you could sit there and watch that is evil.
Knowing that you're slowly killing her and in a very painful way.
There's something, it's worse than just the like someone's horrible reaction or something.
Yeah, like a crime of passion.
You're swinging something and it kills somebody or whatever. A crime of passion, yes, because you have full awareness of what the hell you're doing and you're continuing to do it. Watching someone in pain. I mean, it doesn't, like, even if it's like your person you don't like, a person you hate, your worst enemy, whatever, and you're sitting there watching that, that's sick. That you're like,
and you're calling the insurance company trying to get
more money.
Yeah. And getting more policies. So you're like, as soon as she goes, I'm loaded.
Yeah.
I can move on with my life. No one will ever catch me. And I'm so glad they caught him. I was so hoping they would find him guilty.
Yeah.
And they did. So I got the feeling when he is sentenced, it's going to be quite a while.
I agree.
I hope so.
There you go. Tell me what you think in the comments about what's going on here in this case. Press subscribe wherever you're downloading the podcast so you don't miss any of that. And check us out on YouTube. Just search Hitting Killers with Tony Bruschi. I'm Tony Bruschi. That's Carol Hughes. We'll talk again real soon.
Craving non-stop true crime updates? Press subscribe now and get the latest cases, analysis, and expert commentary delivered straight to your feed. Only from the Hidden Killers podcast and True Crime Today.